It's early, still dark outside here where I am on the earth, but it's hurricane season. Well, it's been hurricane season for a couple of months, but we're about to get into the peak of hurricane season here where I live on the earth. And life is like a hurricane. If you look at how hurricanes are designed, it's this big circular low pressure. And the winds, man, they can stretch out for miles and miles and miles. These outer bands can throw off tornadoes and hail, and just sometimes hurricanes are just a nuisance. Sometimes they're incredibly destructive, just leveling almost everything in their path. Power lines down, homes totally destroyed. Sometimes people even die. Sometimes lots of people die. But the makeup of the hurricane, let me get my hands right. It's moving. And we get to choose where we live in this life that's like a hurricane. Let's take a medium intensity hurricane. It's pretty bad. 115, 20, 125 mile per hour winds, maybe 130. Pretty intense. Big, covers several states here in the United States. Can just swallow entire islands as it moves through the ocean. But life being built like a hurricane, we get to choose where we reside, where we abide. The world system is the swirling, destructive places that are outside the center of the storm. But in the center of the storm, if we choose to abide there, it's called the eye of the storm. And the closer you get to the pupil of the eye, the apple of the eye, the more there is rest, peace, calm. Because in the eye of even the most intense hurricane, in the eye, it is calm. There's a story in the renewed covenant, referred to as the New Testament, where Yeshua and these 12 guys that traveled with him were instructed to get in a boat and go across this large body of water. And they encountered a storm, a deadly storm. It's in the middle of the night. And the storm's raging. It's threatening to tear the little boat apart. And the 12 guys traveling with him were getting more and more and more and more anxious, to where they were even starting to say, "We're gonna die! We're gonna die!" And yet, Yeshua chose to place himself in the eye of the storm. He was so at rest, he was actually sleeping. And the anxious ones, the fearful ones, I've been one of those, woke him up from his restful, comfortable sleep to announce to him that we were all about to die. Don't you care? Don't you care? We're gonna die. No. Because in the eye of the storm, where is rest, peace, comfort, in the center of the hurricane, in the apple of the Father's eye, there's always rest and peace and comfort. And then in that storm, he said something. Now, he only said what he heard the Father say. So he heard the Father say, and then he said, Shalom! Be still. And there was stillness and amazement. It was amazing. Can you imagine? It was amazing to those guys that said, wow, who is this man that even the wind and the waves obey him? He was a child of his Big Daddy. And he just did a simple thing. He turned his heart toward the Father to hear what he said. And he said what he heard. So his words were his words. And his words have force. Another thing about hurricanes, they move. Hurricanes move, and even the professionals in the weather world, the prognosticators, they can only have educated guesses as to where the storm is going next. They don't know. Sometimes they're totally wrong. Oh, it's going to go this way. The cone is going to be like this, and the cone ends up being like that. I've seen it many times. I used to love to track hurricanes. But as the hurricane moves, if we choose to locate ourselves in the apple of the eye of the storm, as it moves, we move with it. Now, the world's system, the world's ways, people, things, desires, whatever, it's out here in the destructive winds. It calls us, come out of the eye, come over here. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's fabulous. You'll love it out here in the destructive winds and the rains and the hail and the death. You'll love it. Come on out here with us. And it looks so good. It's something like we desire. I know I've spent most of my life in that part of the storm. But now, here, I've learned that I'd rather stay here. I'd rather be here in the apple of his eye. I'll just move with the storm. Sometimes it actually will stop. Change directions and go a different way, and then pick up speed and really take off. There will always be storms, but hidden in the secret place, there is always rest and peace, comfort, patience, goodness in the eye, in the apple of the eye of our Father. Ooh. Woo! Isn't he fun? Whoops. Freshly made full cup of coffee. Look at that. Whoops. It's almost overflowing. You like it? In the eye of the storm, our cup does overflow. It just overflows with joy. And the taste of it. The taste of the joy and the peace and the rest. Wow. Start your day in the eye of the storm. Just stop. Stop this. And respond to the call. And get as close as possible to the apple of the eye of our Father, so that he can set your day and not let the hurricanes, winds, and destruction set your day. That way, you can be full of really good stuff and be well.